Good morning, guys. Or maybe afternoon or late night. I'm not sure when you're watching this. Anyhow, so we are starting chapter 2.1. It is going to be solving one-step equations, which is probably a bit of a review for you. So solving one-step equations. The printout is available for you if you like it. Otherwise, you can just handwrite them. So our goal is to get the variable all by itself on one side of the equation. To get the variable all by itself on one side of the equation. All right, so we do this by using inverse operations or doing the opposite, right? Inverse operations. Okay, so remember, this is the golden rule. It should really stand out to you. What you do to one side, so one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side. What you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other side of the equation. All right, so I'll go ahead and highlight this just so you guys remember. What you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other side of the equation. I love these highlighters. They're so fun. The mild liner by Zebra, in case you're interested. If you have a pen obsession like I do. There goes Siri talking to me when I never talk to her. Okay, so inverse operations are operations that undo. They undo it. Whatever's been done to it, they undo it. Say, for example, you tie a shoe. Untying it would be undoing it. So we have addition. When you see something that's added, undoing it would be subtracting. All right, well, if you see something that is multiplied, the undoing it would be dividing. All right, and the same, if you divide something, undoing it would be multiplying. If you subtracting, undoing it would be adding. All right, if we want to square something, so whatever our number might be, and we square it, the undoing it would be the square root. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on a couple of these examples. Let's start with number 1. Sometimes to keep it simple for you guys, I recommend drawing a line down the middle. And remember, this S is what we want to keep alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides, right? I'm going to undo it by subtracting 15. I'm going to bring down this S. 15 minus 15, those would cancel out. And 42 minus 15 would be 27. And look, that S is all by itself. So we know that we are done. All right, I'm going to jump over here to number 13. Number 4 with this 13. I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign, and you can do that if you want. You don't have to. I'm going to add 13 this time because it was a negative 13, so I'm doing the opposite. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. I draw my line, I bring my M down. These 13s cancel out, and I'm left with M equals 30, which that M is all by itself, so I'm good to go. M equals 30. Okay, I'm going to jump down here to number 5, and again, I want to get this 6 by itself, this negative 6. So it's being multiplied. In order to undo it or do the opposite of what you're seeing, I'm going to divide by negative 6 and divide by negative 6. Oops, I forgot my line down the equal sign. And when I do that, this 6 and this 6 would cancel out, and I'd be left with x equals negative 5. 30 divided by negative 6 is negative 5. X equals negative 5. All right, so let's look over here at number 8. Oh goodness, it's a fraction. I'm going to draw my line down, and in order to get rid of this fraction, the easiest way to clear it is to multiply it by its denominator. So I'm going to multiply this side by 3, and I'm going to multiply this side by 3. That will clear out this 1/3, right? I'll be doing the opposite. It's technically 3 over 1, right? So multiplying it by its reciprocal. And I'm left with x equals negative 30. X equals negative 30 off to the side. Okay, so that's solving one-step equations. We will come back to these and see how you guys do. For now, we're going to move on to solving two-step equations. So this one you do not have guided notes for. I'm going to just go ahead, and this is actually a second section, but they're both pretty brief, so I'm going to make it into one video. So 2.2, solving two-step equations. Okay, so to solve, identify the operations. You want to identify what they are, what's happening is adding, subtracting, dividing, squaring. Identify the operations and undo them using inverse operations. All right, so we've been talking about GEMDOS, right? The order of operations. What we now want to think of is we want to think of the order of operations backwards. So order of operations backwards. And we'll close it off with a cute little star. So order of operations backwards is SAD-MAG. SAD-MAG. Poor Meg was sad. SAD-MAG. All right. So remember, it's grouping, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Well, we're doing it backwards. So we're starting with subtraction, addition, then division, multiplication, then exponents, then grouping. All right. So SAD-MAG backwards. Right here, the S and the A, subtraction, addition, slash addition. Right here, you guessed it, division, multiplication. And exponents. Going to draw a little line out here. Exponents. And last but not least, grouping. Grouping, grouping, grouping. Okay, so we're doing those backwards. Oops, I keep forgetting to highlight my titles. These are just things I do. You do not have to do them. But solving two-step equations. Okay, so let's do some examples. And we'll just do a couple, and then we'll do a couple more in class. Okay, so let's do 12x plus 3 equals 5. All right, now if I look here, I want to undo this plus 3, so I'm going to minus 3. That's going to be my first step. Or I'm just going to minus. That's what I'm thinking, to undo, not minus. Well, I will be minusing 3, but I want to think like, oh, I'm going to minus first. So here I go. Minus 3, minus 3. And I will bring down that 12x. So down comes the 12x. And I'm left with 5 minus 3 is 2. Now I need to get this by itself, right? So I'm going to take this 12, this x, and it's multiplying by the 12. So I'm going to divide by 12 and divide by 12. And I shouldn't have given you a fraction for the first one. I'm sorry about that. So I'll be left with an x equals, and I'm going to reduce this. They're both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So x equals 1/6. Sorry, guys. Probably shouldn't have given you a fraction on the first one. My bad. Okay, let's look at this other one then. Number 2. And we'll just do 2 examples and we'll call it a day, and we'll do some more in class or on our meet. So x minus 7 over 3 equals negative 12. Okay, well, first thing, I'm going to draw my line down. All right, and then I'm seeing that, oh, there's division being done first. Okay, so, and I can't really add the 7 to get rid of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this divided by 3. So if it's divided by 3, the inverse or the opposite or undoing it would be multiplying it by 3. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to multiply that side by 3. And I'll be left with x minus 7 equals negative 36. Then I have to add 7 to get it by itself, and add 7. And I'm left with x equals negative 29. So x equals negative 29. All right. We will do a couple more problems, and I'll see you guys when we do.